G'day fellas, I'm back for another review. I apologise for not being around. I've just had no mojo, but it has returned, and so I'm back in full swing. Just finished work, dropped in the hobby shop on the way home, and as you do, because that's all you want to do after work is go to the hobby shop, and I picked up this. This is a 1/35 scale Hobby Boss German VK1602 Leopard. Okay, I'm surprised that I haven't bought this kit before. It's this kit I remember as a kid. It's what got me into German armor. I didn't know anything about German tanks, anything about the Second World War, because I was a kid. So saw this today. I think this was like I got like $50. I think it was Aussie. So it's only a very small box too, guys. It's not a large box. So if I'm currently working on the Rifield's Assault Breacher. That's the top lid for it, or even better, there's a chassis. So the box isn't that much bigger. Just to give you there's my hand and there's the box. It's just to give you a better idea of the size. And what it says on the front, the length of the model, completed model, will be 161.78 millimeters, and the width is 88.40 millimeters. So if you're in the States and you're still using that crazy system, basically it's going to be just over half a foot long when it's completed. So it's not a very big model, and there's a little bit there on the side talking about the vehicle itself. So I mean, you're more than welcome to hit the pause button. Sorry about the light, it's just the way my camera's set up too, guys. So if you want to hit the pause button and try to read that, there you go. Yeah, so at the current time of filming too, a lot of people are saying don't support China. It's all good and well, but I mean, from a modeler's point of view, we would suffer immensely. So I just made a post on Facebook, my own personal page, saying, if we stop supporting China and all that, we're screwed basically as model builders. So yeah, support China. Do the right thing. Here's just some coloured images of the Leopard. So as you can see, what it is, and if you don't really feel like reading the side of the box, it's basically saying it's a prototype. January 1943. It's based on the Panzer II of J, and you can see remnants of the Panther. Okay, so like it's kind of got like a Panther looking turret on there. The very front looks very Pantherish. Sides, wheels. It's basically a shortened version of the Panther. So if you want a quick build, I've already had a quick look in the box. It's not going to be a very in-depth, like a very time-consuming build. So I'm thinking, especially with all this SMS paint coming in, and as you know that SMS has jumped on board with Outback MIDI models and has become one of our sponsors. So Scotty Taylor, thanks mate, love your paint. And this will be SMS paint will be used on this model. I bought this kit being a short sort of quick build. I'm thinking about doing a build video, so if you guys want to see this as a build video and also as a painting tutorial using the SMS paints, because I'm thinking when I picked up this kit, there's a lot of things that I could sort of demonstrate using SMS paints, pigments, paints, the thinners, their masking putty, and especially with the Easter holidays coming up in the next few days, I should have some time. And I was thinking today as well at work, and I'm always thinking about new videos while I'm at work, and I've got to word this carefully, okay? For the guys that are isolated at home around the world, like I'm really feeling your pain, guys. No income coming in. You've probably got family members. Hopefully you haven't got family members that haven't been affected by this virus. I don't really like talking about it because it's a nasty thing to talk about. But if I feel your pain, guys. Like it's just I'm always thinking about everybody out there. But if you are in isolation and you do have the money to back you up, I mean, I'm kind of jealous because you kind of get to spend all this time at the bench where I'm in the transport industry, so I still have to work trying to keep this country running. But yeah, that's enough about those nasties. The kit number on this is 82460, and as it says there, it's a 1/35 scale kit. There's really not much on the box art around the sides. It just basically says it's ages 14 and up. And it says detailed scale kit for adult collectors to assemble. Actual model may vary from image on the box. Depends on what kind of paint you use, isn't it? Alright, let's crack this open and have a look. Alright, so like I said, it's not a very big box. Pretty much takes up, it's a standard sort of size. That's an A4 sheet, like a letterhead piece of paper that you'd get in the mail. So the box is pretty much the same size with only that to give, so it's very, very small. Okay, you get a nice coloured colour guide, and there you've got options of Mr. Hobby, Vallejo, Model Master, Tamiya and Humbrol. The colours are, let me get this box out of the way so you can sort of, not everything's not in the way. You got dark yellow, field green, wood brown, steel, flat white, and tie black as your base colours. Okay, so serious models sort of get, you know, there's going to be more colours involved than that for weathering. And the other side is just a blank, so that's pretty much all you get. And I dare say you've got your images where your decals are going to go, and you've only got one colour option. So if you've got some reference material, use it. I think I'm going to go sort of scrounging around, trying to look for other images, other colour combinations. But if not, we'll go with this. Instruction book, black and white. Just a little bit of a safety guide at the start, and all the symbols, just general stuff with most instructions, just what the logos mean throughout the instructions, and little bit of safety instructions how to apply decals. And it looks like that's Chinese. Alright, I'm Chinese, but I can't read it, so I can't really help you there. But yeah, like I said, it's in English and Chinese. Turning to page 1, you got your sprue map. Okay, there's not many sprues. You got, what do you got? You got A sprue, you got 3 of those. B sprue, you have 2 of those. Obviously there's your wheels, drive sprockets, idlers, and all that kind of thing. C sprue, you have 1. Nice thing about this kit, it's not going to be something for everybody. You've got individual tracks, IndyLink tracks. So I'm a track whore. I like sort of, you know, building tracks, so this is a plus for me. And when I was talking to Wayne in the shop, actually, that was one thing that I asked him. I said, are you able to open up the box and see if there's individual link tracks in there? Because if it's a rubber band tracks, I really don't feel like buying aftermarket ones. And if it had rubber band tracks in there, I wasn't going to buy the kit. So that's something that's worth asking when you're buying kits, is just ask the guy behind the counter. Most guys will do it. Just if you just kindly ask, you know, be nice about it, and just if you have a quick look inside the box, 9 times out of 10 they'll say, yeah, no worries mate. They'll cut it open, cut the tape out, have a look and show what's inside the box. And that's one thing I don't like about online stores. You don't get that chance to look inside the box unless you go on YouTube and look at a kit review like this one and you actually see what's in the box. D sprue, you have 1 of those. You have a PE fret down here. It's not a very busy one, so it's not too bad. And then you got your decal sheet. Step 1 is the lower hole. Alright, so you've got lower hole assembly. You do have guide horns. Options differ, chassis assembly instructions. So you do have guide horns, 1 piece, thank God. You don't have, you know, like separate like the most German Armour. You'll have your swing arms, and then you'll have your guide, your torsion bars. What did I say? Guide horns. Scrap that. Torsion bars assembly down here. Whoops. So you have your torsion bars through here, and that just shows you. And then do take note, because there's A5, there's an A6 as well, so there's 2 different part numbers to slot in the side. Alright, and step 3, you have the wheels. Okay, both sides, you got B3. So you got your so you got drive sprocket, gearing and all that assembly as well. Multi-wheel assembly. So if you're familiar with the Panther, I think you're going to be familiar with this build, and even most German vehicles. And that's another thing, German vehicles normally have heaps and heaps of wheels, which is kind of a crappy thing, especially when it's cleaning time, sanding. Alright, so it's basically just repeating, finishing off the other side. Oh, and you've got option 2, okay. So you have, I've just noticed here, so you have option 2. Alright. Alright. I'll study that more closely. And why isn't it focusing? There we go. Sorry guys. And so more road wheels, tells you to make 6. Then you got the exhausts on the back here, on the rear plate, and clear blue. So there are some painting things throughout the instructions, and it kind of reminds me of a Tamiya instruction book where they just tell you like how to paint things. PE actually tells you, so the part number PE15 is a PE part, so that's pretty cool. It's not really confusing. And so you're putting on the rear plate for the exhausts and everything. What else we got? Now you got the tow hitch on the back. Tracks, and it tells you make 66. Yay! And this kit as well, with the tracks, IndyLink tracks, you are going to have to put the guide horns on individually. So it's like the very familiar to the Tiger 1 by Ryefields. You know, you got the multi-part track with the individual guide horns. So you are going to have to do that with this kit. So that's, I'm just warning you now, if you don't want to build IndyLink tracks with guide horns, this kit won't be for you unless you can find aftermarket tracks or rubber bands. You got spare rubber band tracks or something laying around for this kit. We got fans, like exhaust vents for the engine. We got PE grills. We got drivers and gunners hatch on the front. Multi-part fenders. Okay, looks like we've got options. So we've got an option for a plastic PE fender or a plastic part. So it's up to you. Okay, I think it seems to be a bit of a waste if you got PE ones and you don't use them. And what else do we have? It's just finishing off the PE covers for the back on step 10. So that's not a very busy build. And then nice chunky fenders. Then we got the fuel tanks on the back, and we have, what else we got? Lights, C20 make 2 PE. So we got PE wing nuts for the front here, so for the front fender. Have PE parts, and the main turret itself. All right, so what else we got? Okay, so you got sort of a, it's not an interior build, but you do have details for the gun breech inside, and we have clear parts that go in there for the vision ports as well, and it looks like a one-piece barrel. One-piece barrel. And you got your muzzle brake on the front, so technically it's a 3-piece barrel, not including the mantlet. So hopefully no sanding involved, which is good. You got smoke launchers assembly as well, bit of PE. I think it looks like a PE bracket, PE12. So the actual mount for the smoke launcher system is, you've got a PE option or a plastic option. That's nice. Looks like we also have a plastic or antenna to go on the back, which is nice. You don't really get too many kits with antennas these days. It's normally you've either got to get a bit of wire or a bit of stretch sprue to throw on the back. So I mean guys, that's pretty much the instruction book. 14 steps, 15 steps, 12 pages. Nice. Alright, so we get to the box itself. I want to show you how this is packaged. nice sealed up bags. The hole itself is in a separate box, and I think that's typical trumpeter. No, sorry. The box itself carries the upper deck, or the top plate, and the lower hole, or upper hole, lower hole, and it also carries the photo etch fret. I mean, I think that's typical Hobby Boss. So there you go. So I want to start stripping all this stuff out of the box, and I want to show you what's inside. Let's start with the upper hole. All right, so let's get this out. Okay, first thing I notice, it's not really flashy. A lot of ejector pin marks on the inside. I mean, you can see on the lower hole. I mean, it's pretty chunky ejector pin marks. So if you're gonna detail up the inside of this kit by getting aftermarket things, you want to scratch build your interior. If you're one of those people, you're gonna have to get rid of these ejector pin marks because they're pretty nasty on the inside. But if you're just going to seal it up, that's something you're not going to have to worry about. And it says, okay, basically it's just tells you what it is and the serial number on the inside. But the detail is, it's an older kit. I believe this is from like 2010. Let me double check. So it's on the box, it's 2010. So we're looking at 10 years old for at least this mold. A lot of things have changed in 10 years, as you guys know. But nonetheless, it's going to take a wash really nice. If you want to, and something else to point out, that the texture on here is really, really smooth. Okay, there's not really too many torch cuts on here, and the texture is very smooth plastic. So if you want to add your own texture to this thing, or if you're expecting the part to have texture on there, you're gonna have to add that on yourself. So that's that part there. And then there's the lower hole. So there's escape hatches on the bottom and everything like that on the bottom, service hatches. There's the details there, okay, and there are weld details on the bottom, especially on the front where the plates interlock. Okay, so there are weld. It's very, very, very fine. There are torch cut marks along these front here. So when you are gluing, just be careful that you don't go crazy with the glue, because that detail will disappear. I mean, if I run my fingernail over it, you can feel that the detail's there, but it's very, very fine. And then, so like, it's not a very big chassis compared to like an M1 modern chassis. I mean, just the turret itself that I'm building for the M1 Breach currently it's bigger than this vehicle, so it's going to be, like I said, it's not a very big vehicle, so don't expect a huge German tank. And we're going to look at the turret sprues. And once again, just while I'm going through, I just want to thank BB's in Mackay for looking after me whenever I go into that store. So I thought I'd give Wayne a plug. Okay, these are C sprues. So remember what I said in instructions, you get one of each. So this is 1C and then 1D. So there's your plastic fenders there. Okay, also there's your other plastic ones. There's your hatches for your driver and gunner. Okay, there's your fuel tanks, rear plate, and like, I can't really say anything bad about the plastic. It's not flashy. There's like, you know, like when there's just some kits, you just have a look at it and there's just mold lines everywhere and there's flash hanging off the kit. I mean, there's really not much. I mean, I can't really knock this kit. If you want something that's how it builds up, I can't really tell you how it builds up because I haven't I haven't built this kit. Like it's sitting right in front of you here. But so far, I can't pick or say anything bad about the parts. Like they're very clean. Like if I zoom in, like if I zoom into the parts and actually give you a closer look at the parts themselves, I mean, they're very clean. Like see what I mean, guys? So I mean, as long as you're really careful how you cut these parts out and like glue them together, I mean, you're not really going to have too much dramas. Like fit issue wise, like I said, I'm not too sure. But even these two pieces that interlock together, I mean, you see, there's hardly any mold lines on this. I mean, there's your barrel there, and like and there's probably the slightest mold line there. I mean, the mold line runs like around the whole sprue here, but that's obviously where the two halves come together, so you get. But it's not really bad. Like, have a look at this, guys. I don't know if you can see it, and if the camera allows you to, like, just from the close up. I mean, if you want me to take photos of this, I will, and I'll upload them up to the Outback Meaty Models Facebook page, and you can have a better look. But really, there's pretty much no need to take photos of it because it's like just the cleanliness of the sprue itself. Okay, and we're going to go to A sprues and B sprues. Okay, this is the one where you get 3 identical sprues in the one bag because these are the wheels. At least you're not building a Tiger where you get like 4 or 5 of these screws. Okay, massive wheels. Alright, so looking at the lower hole, these wheels are pretty big. Okay, so it's almost like an egg tank. That's what it reminds me of. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so you do get plastic options. Let me look at this. I'm just going to go on the photo etch for a second. Just going to have a look at something. Alright, so you do get options for plastic wing nuts, or you get the PE ones here. Okay, slightly different size. Looks like the PE ones are, well, they're just flat. Okay, so but the plastic ones have a bit more sort of shape to them. So that's going to be entirely up to you whether you want to use PE or plastic. That's why they give you the option. Okay, but there's your torsion bar system. So your swing arm and your torsion bar is one piece. That's a nice thing. Like some of these kits these days are just way over engineered, but that's not a bad thing either. Sometimes you get more detail out of it, but then sometimes it's like no need for it. So the details, what's the wheels like? Right, there's really not much like as in letters or anything on the wheels, but the detail. Okay, looking closely, I can't really. My eyesight's really. I'm wearing glasses, but I can't really see if the detail in. If I get something to point with. I'll use my drill bit. So if you see, if I bring you in a bit more, I'll zoom right in. I'm not sure, and even on this screen here I can't really see. I'm not really sure if they're rounded or there's actually bolt detail. You might be able to see it, and I'm not going to be able to see it until I edit this video on the computer on the big screen. But what I'm seeing on my screen I'm using currently, I can't really see that much detail. So I mean, that doesn't really matter, I guess, unless you're a rivet counter and you really have to have that detail there. Okay, so that's those sprues, and I'm not going to show the the other two because they're exactly the same, they're identical. And then comes to we got B-sprue. Okay, these are identical, guys, so I'm just going to show you one of these. We got the idler wheel and the drive sprocket. Okay, drive sprocket is really nice. And one thing I do give this kit, or Hobby Boss I should say, is, and I'm going to mention this when I come to the tracks as well, a pet hate of mine, and it's probably a pet hate of a lot of you guys out there when it comes to building the wheel section or the drivetrain of any armored vehicle, is when they put the clip points inside the sprocket. I mean, there is no need for that. It makes it so hard to clean, and like, it's just no need. Putting it on the outside of the cog makes it so much easier. You can just put your clippers there, cut, give it a quick sand back, and you're done. Like, that's hats off to Hobby Boss for doing that. It's just smart. And everything else, and once again, like I'm talking about the mold lines earlier on, the tiniest, I mean, the mold lines there, okay, but they're not like stupid, and they're not just big and chunky. Okay, so like even just a quick like some sort of quick wipe with a mold line removal tool. If you don't have one of these, I get asked about this all the time. It's a Citadel mold line removal tool. It's one of the best things I've ever like bought, just for removing mold lines. It's not sharp, you don't cut yourself. We've also got, if I can find it, Heather picked up these when she was living in the States and sent these over to me, not realizing Voyager model is Australian. Okay, I never knew either until it's a mold line removal tool. It's just basically it's a piece of PE with I won't talk too much about this, but if you want to see a review on this and how it works, leave a comment down below and I'll definitely do one. But just makes things so much easier. Or you just get your hobby knife, just give it a quick flick, mold lines are gone. Okay, guys, and that's that. I mean, that's nice how that's one piece, and the details seem quite nice on the drive sprockets. Alright, so that's those there. What else do we have in the box? Looks like we're coming down to the last three bags. Alright, so we have, what do we got here? 4, 8, 12. We have 12 small sprues of track links. Alright. So I'm only going to open one bag because they're exactly the same once again. And I'm going to zoom in for this one because this is a small sprue. So these are E-sprue. Alright. So as you can see, there are your guide horns all along here. And this is what I was talking about earlier on about the cogs and everything like that, the gears. See how they put their clip points here, right on the end, where you can cut it and sand it without too much hassles whatsoever. And same with the guide horns. I mean, or if you really want to, when you're building your tracks, and this is a tip if you're new to building IndyLink tracks, instead of cutting it off here, cleaning it, and then trying to muck around later on with tweezers and then trying to glue them on to the track once it's laid out, don't worry guys, there's going to be a build video on how to build these tracks, okay, whether it's a part of the video itself or I'll do a separate video. Alright, so you comment down below and you let me know what you want to see, guys. But if you cut here with your clippers, so if I get a pen, right, so if you cut right down low as close as you can to the main rail of the sprue itself. So where I've marked it with red, get your clippers and cut as low as you can, okay? What that allows you to do is you can use your fingers, and there's a grab point, so you actually hold it without using tweezers. You can comfortably put the guide horn on the track and glue it in place. Don't cut them. You can adjust it while the glue's setting, and then that way later on you can come back. So instead of cutting, cleaning, cut, clean, cut, clean, cut, clean, do that like 120 something times, that's going to be a bit monotonous, right? So you build your tracks, get your guide horns, cut them where I showed you, where I'm showing you now, lay them down on the tracks, glue them, let it set, right? Don't touch it, let the glue go off, so all the plastic melts and goes off together. Then you can come back with your pair of clippers, your hobby knife, whatever you feel comfortable using, cut them off right at the clip point or just above it, and then allows you to sand the whole lot in one hit. Okay, that's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of headache, a lot of missing parts, because leaving that tag on there makes a part bigger. The carpet monster doesn't tend to eat it up, and and we're not too sure if they give you spares with this kit either, so I can't really comment on that. And finally, here's the PE fret, guys. I'm going to leave this in the bag because it's got the cardboard backing, and I still want to keep this protected. All right, so you've got here all your intake and your exhaust grills. There's your smoke launcher PE fret, all right, or PE part, I should say. Correction, PE part. There's all your wing nuts that I showed you earlier on, and these all just other parts. I'm not really too sure what they are. I'd have to go through the instructions and tell you. So there's the unboxing kit review of the Hobby Boss German VK1602 Leopard tank. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Doesn't really bother me at all, helps me out. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll get notified when I upload new videos. And also there's a link to my Facebook page at the top of this YouTube channel. That's where I post all the photos and pretty much what I'm up to, sort of when I'm not sort of doing YouTube. It's my modeling page, so go there, like it, follow it, and you'll sort of stay up to date with what I'm doing. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next video, and be safe. And as everyone's saying, I guess I have to say it, stay inside, don't do anything dumb, and listen to what your government's telling you to do. Alright guys, catch you next video. Be well. Bye.